welcome to the Shelley Studio, and today I am doing not only Acrylic April, but today is my day to do the Art Joy of Sharing Groups prompt, which is Magnificent Melange, hashtag. And it's all about giving a technique. It's supposed to be a simple technique. If you've been watching my acrylic paintings, you know I am no expert at acrylic painting. But I did take one class, it was like a 2-day class, back in 2008, an acrylic painting class, and it was kind of a technique to help you paint in a way that looks like oil painting. So I am going from memory, which is not that good. And we're going to try this. So I've picked a landscape. It's just a photo from outside my house, minus all the houses, and we're just going to try it. So to help it look more like an oil painting, you want to give it an underpainting. Now, when I took the class, I was using a white gessoed surface, and we used raw umber, I believe, which is a bit more orange. But I wasn't sure that would show up. I probably would have been fine with it over the top of this orange gessoed paper. But I figured I would try a little bit darker. Might be a little too dark. I think my image looks a little too dark in the end. But this is burnt umber. And all I'm doing is I'm finding the dark areas of what I'm painting and giving it a coat of the burnt umber. I'm using a heavy body paint, a little bit of water, and this is actually a really stiff brush. Now when I remember when I took the class, they had us get a brush that was stiff, one of our old paintbrushes that we didn't care about, and we turned it into a scruffy brush. This isn't it. This is just a stiff bristled little brush. The one we had was bigger, and we actually cut it down so it was just really short, flared it out, and it was a scruffy brush. And it didn't leave real brush marks. It just sort of scrubbed the paint into the surface, which is not what I do here. And my gessoed paper has a little bit of actual paint mixed in to make it orange. So it's not as rough as regular gesso. It doesn't quite have that chalky feel to it. So the paint doesn't take to it quite the same. But, like, I don't know how much of that you need to know. Anyway, so just you give it a try. Put an underpainting of the values of what you're painting, and then try it. Use colors over it and see what you think. It probably would have been better, like I said, on a white gessoed surface, and maybe a little bit lighter the raw umber color rather than the burnt. Pretty sure it's burnt umber that I'm using. Yeah, but that's basically all I'm doing is putting in the basic shapes, giving them a little bit of value, and then we'll go in and put the color. So in my scenery, there is a smaller mountain in front of the bigger mountain. That's why you see what I'm doing there. I don't know if it's very easy to tell. And now I'm thinking I'm putting some cloud shadows up there. Would work better with a scruffier brush, I think. But I'm almost done putting in the dark, and then we will get with the color. Alright, so I think it's about time we added some color. So in my photo, the mountains are back a lot further than they appear in this painting. So we're going to tint them a little bit blue so they look more distant. And I think that orange kind of makes them look a little green, but that's okay, they're mountains. So that doesn't matter too much. I'm just doing a light wash over the top. You can see how wet the paint is. Probably didn't need it quite that wet. I'm thinking it looks a little green, so we're going to put the grass, put a little bit of that blue into the grass as well, and on the trees. Sorry that cut over. I just added a little bit of white to that blue, and that's what made that gray. And just adding a little bit more white to make this look a little bit lighter, like the sidewalk. Really, that's all I'm still using is that same color. So now I'm taking more of that brown color and thinking I'm gonna lighten it up with a little bit of white and add it to the tree trunks to give them a little bit of shading. But it all just kind of looks gray. Doesn't it look gray? But I was going for highlights. Now I think it's time we did the sky. And I'm just covering the whole thing up with that blue and a little bit of white. And I'm sorry, I'm so bad with the names of the colors. That's how I paint. I just grab what I want and see what happens. I'm not very measured. Now I was trying to add a little white there to make those clouds look like clouds. Yeah, I don't know. Now we'll put some green in the trees. My hope was that it would be light enough that it would show up there, so that's why I've added all that white to get it to show up, get the trees to show up. The white helps a little bit. Put some of that brown in there to give us some shadows. Decided to add some green or yellow to that to brighten it up. It needs some brightening. This is the point where I'm like, this picture is way too dark. in that acrylic class, I vaguely remember, I really don't remember much about the class, honestly. I remember the underpainting, and then I remember them talking about doing it in layers and doing your lightest layer last. So adding the spark of color at the end. So here I think what I'm doing is making grass, yes. I'm just using a really stiff, small brush to just kind of stipple. Just smash on there, get some grassy sort of texture going. Basically the same thing for the other side. So don't forget to check out the Facebook group, Art Joy of Sharing. And if you search the hashtag AJOS or hashtag Magnificent Melange, you will see other people's videos. I do it very early in the month, and a lot of them will come probably after me. But if you're in that group, everybody will post when they're putting their videos out. So make sure you check it out. Just lightening up my lawns a little bit, all that grass. Giving it a little bit more interest. Now I kind of like the orange underneath. What do you think of the orange underneath? Does it add to it, or should it have been white? Curious what you think. Trying to clean my brush off. Want my white to be white, I guess. Apparently, a blue white. Just not a green white. Alright, so we're helping out those clouds a little bit. Now I feel like the picture looks really flat and needs more, so I'm going to highlight it. I think I also kind of shade the back of the road so it looks like it's actually going in the distance instead of looking so flat. Hopefully you'll see me do that. Yeah, right here. Now, I think that was raw umber, so I think, is it raw sienna? Burnt sienna? Which one is more orange? Maybe that was the color we used in the class. Could have been. Like I said, it was a really long time ago. So see, I'm just kind of shading that a little bit. Does it help? I don't know. Anyways, I hope you liked that video. If you did like it, please hit like, give me a thumbs up, comment, ask me any questions you'd like. I will try to answer them. And if you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.